Skill is the unified force of experience, intellect, and passion in their operation. The future belongs to those who learn more skills and combine them in creative ways. A very hearty good evening to one and all present over here. I, Gaurav Govilkar, welcome you to the ninth session of second installment of VESIT's Alumni Engagement Initiative, We Reach 2021. As the world is adapting to ever upgrading online scenario in almost every sector, it is important for an engineer to get accustomed to these online resources. Thus, one finds himself in an indispensable need to develop the required skills. An amalgamation of technical and soft skills is the need of the hour. Thus, Basit brings to you a series of sessions that would help you grow, not only technically, but in a holistic sense. To know more about what comes ahead in this session, let us hear it from Mr. Subhash Singh, Deputy HOD, Humanities and Applied Sciences Department, Basit.
Good evening to all of you. The field of engineering demands an intense development of skill and technical knowledge. Developing technical skill is a continuous process and the industry demands you to cope up with the swiftly changing technical ambience. Nowadays, employers are always looking for people with soft skill and experience also. These skills will not only help students to get good jobs but also to keep them in. So it is vital for the students to master not only the technical skills but also some certain interpersonal skill also. Technical attitude along with the certain soft skill opens up a lot of avenues for them. Today's session focuses on developing yourself technically as well as in the soft skills also. With the best wishes, thank you.
Thank you, sir, for throwing light onto today's topic. Today, to guide the students of VESIT, we have among us one of our most distinguished alumni, Miss Mrugakshi Bole. She passed out from the Department of Instrumentation in 2014. She currently works as a senior instrumentation engineer at Black& Veatch Private Limited. Being an experienced instrumentation engineer, she has a demonstrated history of working in LNG, chemical, and allied industry. She has previously worked at ThyssenKrupp Industrial Solutions Private Limited. She also has a number of projects under her accomplishments, including two projects in Saudi Arabia, a project each in Senegal, Hungary, and the United States. With all that achievements under her name, she also has a sporty side to her and enjoys playing table tennis. She also believes in giving back to the society and has been a corporate social responsibility representative at ThyssenKrupp India. With her A game and communication skills, she believes in binding the technical knowledge along with soft skills for a comprehensive development of working personnel. With her illustrious experiences, today Ms. Mrugakshi is here to guide the students of VESIT. May I request you, ma'am, to proceed with your presentation. Over to you, ma'am.
Hello, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for the beautiful introduction, Gaurav. Uh, it's a great privilege to be here today at my alma mater, and I'm really happy to listen to what Gaurav just mentioned. Just few things. I am, as just Gaurav mentioned, I'm a senior instrumentation engineer at Black& Veatch Private Limited with 4 years of previous years experience in ThyssenKrupp Industrial Solutions. Um, as I said, I'm very happy to be here amongst all of you, and it feels very privileged to be a part of such a beautiful initiative that is taken up by our esteemed college. And to be here and to be able to share my experiential insights with all of you is a different experience, which I really will cherish. So I hope all of you are doing well and by now had gotten accustomed to this new normal that we all have been facing for a past year and a half now. And I'm sure that this must have also, put us all through a different range of emotions and experiencing new things such as, stillness at times, cluelessness at times. And also, this was a time which I feel all of us got a very good time to explore ourselves in certain ways or get to know ourselves a little more than what we could have done if we could have not got this time for ourselves. So while we talk about this exploring and getting to know ourselves, this brings me to our today's topic of webinar, that is technical and soft skills required for engineers today. So, to understand first, to start off, we'll try to understand what basically is a skill. So, I'll just quickly share my PPT now. Yeah, so today now we start with the presentation itself, that is technical and soft skills required for engineers. So before we start, we'll have a look at what exactly are skills. So as a layman, if you go to Google and if you try to find out what exactly are skills, you just come across this meaning, which is the ability to do something well or have expertise in it. And if you see, there are beautiful words which have synonyms for it, that is dexterity, prowess, mastery, competence, flair, knack. So having skills up your sleeves makes you obviously a bit better than probably as compared to a person who probably might not have any good skills with him. So, now to understand the importance of skill development, I would like to tell you all a very small story. The story is about woodcutter. Now, this is not the conventional story of woodcutter with an axe which is thrown into the water. No, this is a story about woodcutter who wanted a job. So he goes to a timber merchant. Now, when he goes to a timber merchant, he tells him that I need a job. The timber merchant tells him, okay, fine, I'll give you a job. Uh, so and so is the salary, so and so are the work conditions. So the woodcutter says, yeah, fine, that's cool. And the timber merchant calls him from the next day. So the next day, the woodcutter starts his work. He visits the timber merchant. The merchant gives him an axe, and he tells him that you have to cut all the trees with this axe and come back to me in the evening with whatever trees you could cut. The woodcutter says, okay, fine, and so he sets off on his duty on his first day. On the very first day, the merchant is able to cut around 17 to 20 trees. When he gets back with all those amount of trees, all that amount of wood, the timber merchant is very happy with the result. He says, oh, that's great, please keep up the pace. The next day, the woodcutter goes. He's able to cut around the same number of trees. This follows for the next day again. Around weekend, a bit number of trees comes down. So the woodcutter wonders why this must have happened. Then he starts with the next week. In the next week, he's able to cut around 12 trees, which is a bit less than what he was cutting earlier on the first day or his first week. In the third week, the woodcutter further comes down to only 10 trees, and he realizes, oh, this is only 50% of what I was doing in the first week. And he goes to the timber merchant and he says, the number that I'm getting back is come down. I feel that my output is going low. Is there anything you want to suggest me, or you want to help me if for again going back to the same number? So the timber merchant is just quiet and he just asks him one question. When was the last time did you sharpen your axe? And the woodcutter is surprised. He says, sharpen my axe? I did not sharpen my axe. I did not simply have any time to sharpen my axe. I was busy cutting the trees and I was busy focusing on the number. So the timber merchant then says, so you realize what had to be done. So this is some a basic analogy which I feel might have helped you to relate what I'm trying to tell. So the woodcutter is us, and the axe is the skills that we are trying to understand here. The importance. So this is the importance of having skills. If you don't sharpen your skills or hone your skills at the right time during the right amount of right period of your career, you might simply end up having a relentless monotonous life, and just not having great inputs or great performance outputs at all, which might further lead to boredom. So this is the one of the most important reasons of developing your skills from time to time. Furthermore, it gives you an edge as compared to others. As I said earlier, it enhances your employability. Even if you don't want to be employed somewhere, it enhances your overall mindset. It is imperative to adapt, survive, and succeed, because with time the technology is advancing, and with the advanced technologies, if you are learning good skills and you are aware of these things, it helps you to survive in the competition, in this rat race that we all are going through, and further helps you to succeed. It helps you to build the confidence in you when you know that you know certain things which are upcoming. You have the skills to imbibe new things. You are confident enough that you can do anything that comes your way. There is self-awareness and mindfulness. Since you're confident, you know that what you can do, you know your capabilities, your capacities, and you're mindful of all the things that are expected out of you. Readiness and flexibility, as I said, it keeps you prepared, it helps you stay agile with the upcoming trends, and it keeps you wanted by many of the people, because development is something that everybody wants, bridging the gap between expectation and reality. So at many a times the employer or whoever owns a business, they want that their employees or the team members develop with the upcoming technology and the upcoming trends. And once you do have the skills, or you do try to develop yourself in a certain way which is required as per your area of work, you bridge that gap between what is expected of you and what you are, and thus you give great results. So now coming to what are the skills that we are going to discuss today. So the skills are basically classified as hard skills and soft skills in a very generic term. But now, since all of you today are engineers and we are talking to engineers, we will talk about technical skills and soft skills. So as listed, technical skills are something which are industry specific. The knowledge that you have gained through your academics over the past few years, or the knowledge that you have gained from your studies, which can be evaluated and measured whenever you want to appear for a certain post, or a certain job profiles. So this is the knowledge that is evaluated by people, that is measured how good you are, how well do you know things, how good clarity do you have of the concepts here. And soft skills are something which are attributes and personality traits that help you blend easily with your work, that impacts your interpersonal interactions in your work. So this is just a bird's eye view of what exactly is technical skill and soft skill. I hope that is clear. Now we will dwell a bit more into the technical skills. So, as I just stated in the earlier slide, academics is one of the most important technical skills, as we all are engineers and we all have been learning in different streams of engineering. So, we realized that over the past few years, we learned some science which helped us understand how things work, how things probably are done in industry. This is one of the most important skills that you should be expert at, I can say, because you've invested pretty much amount of time in it. And if not expert, you should at least be aware, and that is my second point. Awareness. You should be aware of what you have learned. You should be aware of what you can apply in what area. If I'm an instrumentation engineer today, it was very imperative for me to understand where all can an instrumentation engineer work. If you're an IT engineer, it is very important for you to understand what are the different areas of IT, which the IT sector covers, because it ranges from health to banking to industry to automation. So where can you be your best, and what vertical suits you? Is it core coding, is it development, is it testing, or is it core designing, is it preparation of documents, or is it sales and marketing of engineering things, of the things that you've learned? So this is something that you should be aware of. This is also one of the important skills, hence although being general, I have listed it under technical skills. The third skill is project management. When you start working for a particular organization, or even if you start working for yourself, you start a business, whatever task or activity you get is being assigned to you under the term called project. You've been assigned certain projects. Now it is very important and expected of you to complete the project in a specific way, by specific standards or guidelines or set procedures, and ensure that the output that you give is in line with what the customer or the client requires. So it is basically to initiate, plan, execute, monitor, complete, and close. That is the most important part. And close whatever activities have been assigned to you in a way that are acceptable to all the stakeholders involved in that activity. We then move to something called languages and softwares. Now this is not something that I need to list as skills, but uh, as I said, it covers under academics for many of the IT and computer students. But for people who are core from core backgrounds like me, we tend to miss out on languages more often than not, because we think that we are going to work in a core environment and languages might not really be very pivotal. But with the upcoming trends of artificial intelligence, of machine learning, of robots taking over the human resource, I do think languages or learning languages like Python, Java will somewhere down the line be very helpful for everyone in the career. So if at all you do have some time in your hand, I would seriously recommend at least learning one language out of all the languages that are being prevalent now, so that you do have some IT skills in your in your hand. And there are certain softwares as well which people use, which people should be knowing, but tend to miss out on that because of certain or one or the other reason. But if at all you do have access to those in your college, if you do have access to those in your workplace, make sure that you do gain some expertise on softwares as well, because this also helps you to go a long way. Strategic planning is the second is the next point that I wanted to put across. Now, what is strategic planning? Nothing else but it is resource allocation, setting goals and plans to achieve whatever goals you have set. So if at all, I work, as Gaurav just mentioned, I work for LNG area. So we basically design ships and LNG production facility on the ships. So this is a design engineering that I have to do. Now, if I know that I have got this project, my company has got this project, so there is a team that plans how this is to be executed, what amount of time is to be given to designing, what amount of time is to be given to construction, what amount of time is to be given for procurement. So this is something which all of us do at the college level as well for all our respective projects. But I'm just giving you an example of how this comes handy when you go ahead in your career. So just make sure that whenever you do such things, whenever you plan things, whenever you do activities like planning, organizing, make sure that you realize the importance of it for the further days that you have to come, that have to come for you. Risk management is the next aspect. Now, risk management seems to be something new when we are in our academics or college years, because there's not much that we get to learn about it. But what is management? It is basically a process of identifying, assessing, controlling all the threats that might occur to an organization or a manufacturing facility and might hamper its capital earnings. So this is a completely different vertical now. There are risk management courses being done, there are risk management or engineers or people being hired by companies to ensure that they analyze whatever risk prevail, or whatever are the threats, and if at all those do occur, whatever is the impact to the company and its capital expenditure, it's very minimum. So this is also one of the areas which is upcoming and people should be knowing. And since we are in a stage where we can learn things, this is one thing that we should actually look into and try to learn: risk management. Scheduling, as or time management as the name goes, I don't think this is something that needs any explanation from me, because all of us know what time management is and how crucial it is for all of us to manage time or schedule things. But when I talk about a career perspective, or from a perspective of an engineer who's working in a core industry, basically scheduling means arranging, controlling, optimizing workloads and work plans in a way that the production or the operation of any facility or any organization goes on smooth, and because of which you use your maximum resources with optimum way. We then come to quality control, wherein we ensure that certain set procedures are followed, certain set processes are followed in order to ensure that the result that you get is in line with the required standards governing that particular area or the country. You might be very well aware of whatever standards are prevalent for your particular area of engineering. So ISO, ISA, these are the standards that people should be aware of. There are certain standards for computers as well. So all the outputs that are produced from your work should be in line with these standards. Only then those are the valid outputs. Now then, analytical thinking or analytical skills are one is one such skill that people should be having. And why analytical skills are important is because it helps you to evaluate information processing and also problem solving ability of yours. So when you analyze a certain situation in a way that helps you to give you a much better output, that actually makes your work very well accounted for. So having analytical skills up your sleeves is also a very crucial skill to have. Also, if I'm not wrong, we are judged upon the quantitative reasoning and analytical skill whenever we try to appear for any jobs or interviews. So you do realize what exactly is the gravity of having analytical skills. Commercial awareness is one of the skills that we should also have. Now, in terms of when I put it in technical context, I mean that if you are in a particular stream of engineering, if you're getting employed in a certain company as so and so engineer, as a software engineer, as an IT engineer, as an instrumentation engineer, mechanical engineer, whatever stream of engineering you belong to, you should also be aware of the commercial impacts your work has to your organization. Now, I'm an instrumentation engineer. Many times we need to ensure that whatever is the material that is required, for building a boiler, or for setting up an instrument, or for the instrument to start measuring and giving you the right output, should be available at the site while the construction or the commissioning is happening. Many a times, like I said, since we build things on ship, we build production facilities on ship. If today I miss out a certain, even a screw or a nut and bolt in my material list, that screw or nut and bolt might have, to be flown from land to that particular ship, and which might cost a haphazard value to the client, and ultimately be a wreck, a havoc for the organization as well. So being aware of the commercial aspects of things makes you more alert about what you're doing, and that helps you in a great way. Construction, the reason I'm listed construction under skills is because again it comes under the awareness part. uh, Knowing about how a construction happens for poor people, or how things are actually developed on site, modeled on site, apart from what you've designed on paper, is one thing that helps you, do that or design that in a great way. The other skills that I've listed are artificial intelligence, cloud computing, virtual reality, which are really hype now. And the IT sector, or this entire sector is really booming, with different AIs helping a person to come up with beautiful uh, advantages, like punching a ticket, giving a ticket, taking you, leading you to a destination. So, these are basically, I'm just giving you a bird's eye view of how exactly is technology developing, and why you need to have these technical skills up your sleeves, and how it would help you in a long run. Now we come to the soft skills. After talking about technical skills, when I start talking about soft skills, I realize that this is not something that do need explanation. All of us know all these jargons. What exactly is communication, what exactly is reasoning, what is active listening. But not many of us realize why all these are important, because since we are engineers, our focus is to do best of the engineering work that we should. But many a times, to convey this work to the client, you need to write mails, you need to talk to them, you need to have meetings. And while you have all these communication, while you talk to them, while you convey your work, if your postures, if your expressions, if your words that you're using are not in line with what actually you intend to, it does not leave an impact, or it does not make them realize the amount of efforts you're putting in. Hence, having good communication skills is very important. And when I say very important, it is the reason I'm saying is because communication is nothing but the ability to share, exchange information by speaking, writing, or even by expressing. So what exactly constitutes to a good communication? First, I would say, is the active listening, which I've already listed. So when you listen to understand, and when you don't listen to reply or react, is when you understand what the communication is about, what the conversation is about. And thereby you can try to assimilate the information very well, and comprehend things in a way that help you reply or give the desired answer in a way that leaves a good impact on the person who's talking to you. So listening is one very important skill when you start communicating. It is not only the talking, listening also. It helps to clarify things. You can rephrase things which you've not understand, and confirm, ask question in a way that can answer your doubts very well. There's this non-verbal communication as well. And when I say non-verbal communication, it means the gestures, the body posture, the body language, your eye contact. These also matter a lot in the long term, because if your body postures are not correct, if you're not able to make any good eye contact with the person to whom you're talking, the person in front might not be able to relate or understand what amount of efforts you have put in doing that particular work, and hence all the work might go down the drain. So all these things are very important to be kept in mind when we do a particular thing. Clarity and concision is one most important thing. Just saying clarity and concision is just saying enough, not too much, not too little. You have to be up to the point so that the person who is talking to you understands what you're trying to say and does not lose interest in what you're trying to convey. You should be friendly to the person, because many a times, a smile or just a friendly tone helps them to open up and engage with you in an honest communication. A confidence that you show while talking to them exudes that you do believe in what they're saying, and they really understand that you will follow through whatever is being communicated. Open-mindedness, respect, and also a feedback is what something that forms a crucial part of communication. So you see, this is basically something that helps you convey your efforts, or helps them understand what is expected of the person in front of you while you work in an environment that is going to be your career. Hence communication is one of the most important soft skills to have up your sleeves. If not, if you feel that you lack somewhere in your communication, please make sure you spend certain amount of time every day, 15 minutes, half an hour. It will repay you in a big way, trust me. Reasoning, as I said, you should be able to have rational thinking about what, why, how. And when you have these rational thinkings, when you are able to reason well, people understand, okay, fine, this is why I should be working with him, and they relate to you. I have already covered active listening. Attention to detail is one of the most important factors when we talk about soft skills, considering an engineering work or any work, I can say. But why engineering? As I said, if in my work, if I tend to miss out even the nut and bolt, it might so happen that it has to be flown to the ship. Now, flying only, with the nut and bolt is a cost that is a big, that might, give a very bad impression of mine. So, attention to detail is one thing that should be looked into with great details. And it is nothing else but ability to allocate all the cognitive resources that you have to achieve thoroughness and accuracy, and it improves your productivity in a way, I can say, and efficiency, and ultimately your performance. Improvising is another thing that I would like to state. It is nothing else but, if you're given a work, and if you feel that you've done this work in a certain way earlier in your past projects or past organizations, this time you probably have a chance to do it in a better way. You can improvise on that particular thing by not doing it in the conventional way that you've been doing it for over a period of time and getting bored of it. You can do it in a much better way, and that is what probably gives you the excitement of working, although in the same field, but coming up with different beautiful ideas. Creativity, that is, which is the point that is listed. Teamwork also, I've listed it in soft skills, because it is not something that is only required for engineers, it is required for everybody else. And working in team is a big thing that we should be careful about, or taking serious measures to be a good team partner, or to be a good team member. If you're a good team member, the companies basically look for people who are good team people, because that shows that you can blend with anyone anywhere and do your work or give your best in any environment. So many a times when you work in a team, it may so happen that you might not really be able to adjust to someone else, or not everyone is like you. But fine, in those environments as well, being able to understand that not everybody is like you and still being able to give your best is what counts a lot. I already spoke about efficiency, and first time right is an approach which many corporate cultures try to imbibe in their employees, want their employees to imbibe in themselves. So whatever work you do for the first time, you have to make sure or strive that it is first time right, and you don't need to revisit it again and again, because that is a lot of time investment for which the company has to pay the bills. Being determined is again a skill. As I said, it might not necessarily be a skill for all of you, but as I said in the earlier slide, soft skills are basically the attributes also of every person. So determination is something that none of us should be losing at any point of time in our career. There may be ups and there may be lows in your life, but being determined to do your best and give your best every time is one thing that you should strive to be consistent with. Innovative thinking, as I said, is one of the most crucial things. You cannot do the same thing in the same way for the same amount of time, all throughout your career. You have to think of innovative ideas. Why innovation is necessary? Because it brings in a freshness to the work that you are doing. It brings in a new appreciation to the work that you are doing, probably for the last few years, but in a new way. People like to look at it in a different way. So you have to, try to be innovative in whatever work you're doing. Try to think ki, if I've been doing this work for this amount of time for so many years, how can I do it in a bit different way this time, probably this way. And you can try doing it. I don't think there's any loss in doing it. And when you do, you try to understand if that was a good way or not from the result that you get. The last 3 points here are negotiation, stress tolerance, and prioritizing. These are the most crucial points of the soft skills that anyone should have, because many a times you need to negotiate whatever you want, or whatever the person in front is expecting of you. There might be times when you're very short of time, and the person in front is expecting you to do all the work in certain amount of time, and it is really not possible. So at that point of time you come under stress, and while you tolerate the stress, while you try to keep your job, while trying to adjust to the expectations, make sure you make a negotiation in a way that is not causing any loss to you or the person in front as well. You can always try saying, is it okay if I do this a bit later? Is it okay if I do this percent of work tomorrow? Is it okay if you do it this way? Try proposing new things, try negotiating. Negotiating will never try to pull you down, I can say. Many people are scared ki, this might tend to give a bad impression of you, but I don't think that is the case everywhere. If the person in front of you is mature enough to understand that whatever is being negotiated by you is for good, is a win-win for both, they might negotiate it, and you might be stress free, and you could negotiate a good deal for yourself in terms of work or whatever you need to do. Prioritizing, you need to understand what is to be taken first and what is to be done quickly, because many a times you are given n number of tasks at work, and at that time if you don't understand what is to be prioritized, then you are in a complete mess. You end up doing certain things which are not really required or urgent before, and then doing things which are really urgent at the end moment, and end up making blunders. So prioritizing is also one skill that all of us should have up our sleeves, and we should be practicing these skills over and over again, so that consistency is the mother of excellence, as they say. So being consistent with the skills that you want to hone up might give you a great result and give you great success ahead. So the resources, where can I get learn these skills from? Obviously, there are books, there are ebooks nowadays, there are courses online and offline. But what many people don't know is a very good medium, which is called podcasts. Why podcasts? Because I myself have personally been a fan of podcasts since these have been reinstated into society. Podcasts are not something which are completely new. People have been listening to Doordarshan since a long time, but now the trend has developed to an extent where podcasts, highlighting your topics of interest, have been streamed across various platforms, which stream music and videos, and that has helped many people to get familiar to the things that they do not understand. So the things that they want to learn. So please go, please search whatever you want to learn, and I'm sure you will get at least 10 best results out of your search. Because as I'm pretty sure when I was in college and I was the placement coordinator, I remember a lecture taken by Nagananda sir where he said कि जिसका कोई नहीं उसका स्वामी Google आनंद है. So please go, please Google things up, and you might definitely end up with beautiful searches for yourself. जिसका कोई नहीं उसका Google है is what I can say. Go search things up on internet. You might have beautiful things coming up for your searches, where you can learn beautiful things. So when I say beautiful things, and when I say you get great searches, what all, probably I have tried to list it down here. So when I spoke about soft skills, the first thing that I spoke was communication. So why is communication important? So here I have a podcast that probably gives us an idea why it is important. So uh, you know this is one example of a podcast that probably gives you beautiful aspects of what communication should be like. So if you see, how to communicate under pressure is also one thing that many people need to learn. How to grow, encourage growth and resilience, how to shine online and excel at virtual communication. So these are the things that are discussed in this particular podcast, and probably there might be podcasts where things beyond this and beyond something that are needed might have been discussed. So please search is what I would recommend. Coming back, digital marketing is something, also a new area or new avenue where people are venturing these days. So just out of mere interest, I tried to, although I'm an engineer, marketing is an area where engineers are also employed. So just to understand what is digital marketing, I tried to just do some research, and I came across this beautiful course which is on available on Udemy. There might be other courses as well. I'm not a brand ambassador of any of these, but just because I know, I thought why not share it. So this was one of the course that I found which was very helpful for a very small amount. So if at all you really are interested, please go, please search, and you might come across some courses like this. Now this was the paid course, but now I again try to search for things like project management or things like machine learning. So for these skills, if you wish to hone up these skills of yours, there are free courses available as well. If you see here, there's this Google Project Management Professional Certificate course, which in which you can enroll for free. Obviously you just have to go through the details before you enroll, and I'm sure that you might gain some insights which might help you in long term when you start working. Similarly is a course for machine learning also. So if you see, this is also a course in which you can enroll for free. If not professional level knowledge, I definitely think you can be well versed with the beginner level knowledge of these things as well. So these are just the examples that I've tried to put across, just to show you that if you search, there is great amount of data available on the internet today which you can access for free, which you can access by paying some amount, and gain great level of expertise and all those things. Also, coming back to one of the podcasts, since I said innovative thinking is also one of the crucial aspects, there is one such more podcast that I would like to show here. So this is Design Thinking 101, a podcast named Design Thinking 101, where you know the thoughts put behind designing a certain things are being discussed. So this is very beautiful if you try to have a look at it from an engineer's perspective and try to understand how things are designed and what are the thoughts that are put into, and how innovative, or what is the level of innovation people have to think of. So these were just, as I said, a few insights from my side which I felt might be useful to all of you, or an example of showing what amount of great resourceful data is available to all of you, just in case you wish to go for it. So please make use of these information available, and please make sure that you develop both your technical and soft skills all along your career, and not just when you're in college, or not just till you get your job, because that is what will give you an edge over all your peers and make you successful all throughout and keep your life a bit happy and upbeat, I guess. That's all. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. That was a really edifying session. Ma'am, I request you to on your camera and your mic.
Yes. Hi, Gaurav.
Hello, ma'am. That was a really edifying session. And thank you so much. Like all the examples and the stories and the recommendations that you gave, I'm sure our listeners will tune into the podcasts that you have given. So I request if you guys have any questions, ma'am is here today to answer our questions. I request you guys to put in your questions in the chat box. Uh, until then, ma'am, I had a question from my side to ask to you. Like I said in your intro, you have been part of quite few international clients, like you've been a part of quite a few international projects, be it in the United States, Hungary, Saudi Arabia. I'm sure that you must have had like intriguing experiences. So can you tell us about handling international clients, and how is it different from working, with the clients back at home? If you could tell us.
Okay, yeah, yeah. So I hope I'm clearly audible now as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So While I talk about international clients or my project experiences, I definitely have observed that there's a pattern when we deal with people from different countries. Now, when I say pattern, I have a very good example. Now, I was recently working on a project where
Yeah.
I was recently working on a project where I was working with a Japanese person. The person who was working with me was Japanese, but he was working from USA. Uh, and earlier I also worked for a project with a person who was working from USA and was a US national himself. So while I work with a person who's Japanese, and we all know that Japanese have this reputation of being very dedicated, and they are very up to date, and they are very resilient in the terms of how they work. So at times it used to so happen that we used to end up having meetings in the evening, which is their daytime, and it used to stretch over to our midnight, and him not realizing the fact that it's the midnight at our end, and he used to only realize it later and used to be sorry about it. But then it was already midnight at our end, so I was not really able to do anything else. But it was again a good experience to learn that how dedicated can a person be towards his work that he forgets time and everything else around him. So blending yourself with people from different regions, understanding their dialect, understanding work of their way of work is something that is, as you very rightly pointed out, is also a skill that we probably imbibe over the period of time when we start working and start interacting with these people. Similarly, when you work with people from Germany also, I've been in an organization which was the parent company of which was German, which was Tyson Group or TKS India. So there I observed that people were very much, what do I say, diligent about complying and adhering to standards. They were very risk averse. If at all there were any risk being considered, we had to list it down in the risk registers that we were maintaining, and we had to put it across, across client when we were having meetings, and we had to make things clear that we have been considered this out of this. So that is how you get to learn things in a different way when you start working, and I guess that the skills develop over the period of time in that way as well.
Thank you, ma'am. That was a great answer, and I'm sure that such opportunities do put our skills to the test. I mean,
Exactly. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, it does, it does.
yeah, ma'am. We do have a few questions, so I'll read out the first question. Harsh Falak, he has asked the question: while selecting the project, what parameters should we keep in the mind? Are B projects or mini projects or whatever? What parameters should we keep in mind?
Okay. So I guess when I interacted with you earlier, I did tell you that I was also part of this learning beyond syllabus thing, which was instated for the first time when we were in the college. So at that time, when we selected a project, we also had concerns about, how do we start or how do we go about it. But what I realize now, when I am an engineer and working 7 years down the line, I realize that the projects, whatever we select, should be in a way that whenever you think about it as a person, that you are 5 years down the line, you are able to talk about it at length, and you will be able to talk about it with all your passion, and you'll be very happy with the output that you would have achieved in your college days about it. So for example, what I did, the project that I did, just to give you an example, it was a traffic management system using LabVIEW, wherein we try to put forward this concept of density based traffic management, wherein if there are more vehicles in the lane, the traffic signal for that lane would go on for more amount of time proportional to the density of vehicles in the lane. So this was something that was interesting, rather than just simply doing a project based on some concepts that I'm learning in my academics, like the PID controllers or something that I would not be able to relate to in future. So when I now talk about this project that I did, I still feel that this project has a great scope to be developed ahead in many new ways, and this is something that I would be passionate about to learn or to work upon in the coming days as well. So probably that is a thing that I would recommend should be the points of consideration when you try to choose the project topics which you have to take up for your BE or even your minor projects.
Yeah, thank you for that answer, ma'am. We have one more question. So Pranav Patel asks, As you pointed out, the importance of artificial intelligence in the technical skills slide, is it going to dominate the future technical world? And if yes, what should we do to build up the basics for the same?
Yeah, so that's a very good question. Um, when you just spoke about this, I realized that I have a very interesting video. Is it okay if I share my screen and show that video?
Right, ma'am. Sure, sure. No
Yeah.
problem.
So before I start the video, I'd like to tell you all that this was a video that was being circulated all over the WhatsApp while the Olympic Games were going on, and this is a video that that was sent with the caption that this is how Japan is showcasing their AI and machine learning skills. So I think many of you must have seen it, but just because we're talking about artificial intelligence and just because we are having this point about is it really going to rule the technology, I would like to show this video here. So I'll just quickly share my screen. Just let me know if
Yeah,
you're able to see it.
yeah, sure. Yeah, ma'am, we can see it. We can see it.
So this is basically a robot that they have made, which is playing basketball. And if you see, there is very little, aspect of him that shows that it's a robot. So here is it. So that was how artificial intelligence is being developed to this level. I'll just quickly unshare. Just give me a moment.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is just an example that struck me because we are talking about artificial intelligence. So if you ask me, yes, this definitely is an area which is booming quite a bit now. And if at all you do have some time or you are interested or inclined toward it, just give it a shot. Go ahead here. Probably from whatever you've learned in your academics, instrumentation is a field that helps you navigate anywhere very easily. So that is one of the greatest plus points, of probably being an engineer and being an instrumentation engineer, because I am instrumentation and talking about it. But also, just it is always learning any skills is up to you. So yes, it does have a great future. And about how can you enhance those, as I showed in my presentation, there are many resources available online, like, as I said, there are many courses online and offline. I'm very well aware that there are many standard and great courses offered by reputed universities also as well online. So please go ahead and search, because since I'm not a person who is a great who is into that field, I don't think I should be answering that in depth. But what I would like to tell you is that, yeah, go and Google, and there are certain beautiful courses available out there which can help you to dwell more in that area.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for that answer. We have one more question. It's from Nidhi Bafna. How to handle criticism and not let it affect your confidence? I think quite a good question.
Yeah, it's really a good question, I can see, because somewhere down the line, every one of us experiences this thing that, people do criticize you for whatever good or bad you do. There's only one thing that I would like to say about this, that your worth or your abilities never increase or decrease based on someone else's inability to see your worth. So what you are the best person to judge yourself. And if you know that you are pretty good at doing these things, if you're pretty good at handling these things, so I don't think you need any certificate or validation from anyone, which probably is something that we constantly keep on seeking. कि कोई बोल दे कि तुम ये अच्छा कर रहे हो, या कोई ये बता दे कि okay, you are amazing at this, but not every time you would get people appreciating you. And as I said, more often than not, I realize that people seek perfection, which is not a bad thing. But what I realize is, there is always a scope for improvement. Many a times you see people, come and they surpass you in terms of, achieving things, while you realize that probably you were much better as compared to them in terms of academics, in terms of having skills. So that is because probably you just keep on hovering over one particular thing in search of excellence, and not letting other things come your way. So I feel that, accept that criticism and move ahead in life. Try to take it positively as far as you can. If not, I know at times it might pull you down, but okay, that should be a day or two, not always, because you know what worth you hold for yourself and for the people who love you. So that should be something that inspires you and directs you to the best path in your life.
Thank you, ma'am, for that answer. We have one more question. It's from Madhura Padge. How do we cope up with the building stress due to workload, preparation of university exams, along with exams for higher studies? I think being a third year, even I have this question, like pretty much
Right.
relatable. How do
I
we cope up?
understand. Yeah. Been there, done that. So I realize what it what it feels like to, be there. Although I did not opt for higher studies, but yeah, even preparing for, PSUs or, giving job interviews also takes its own sweet time. So to cope up with stress, be it, for studies, be it in terms when you start, working, because I do realize now that the stress that we have at the point when we are learning in colleges, nothing as compared to the stress that we have when we start working in corporate environments, or when we start, facing the world practically. So there are personal stresses, there are professional stresses at times. From my perspective, what I do is I realize that you need to do whatever you feel happy at. So for me, talking to my family members, taking time out for whatever things I'm passionate about, be it any co-curricular activities, playing table tennis, or just wandering out a day, spending time with your own self is something that all of us lack. I mean, we are heavily invested into getting to know new things, surfing through internet, Instagram, Facebook, getting to know new trends, watching new reels, and increasing the follow count of many content creators out there. But we definitely don't give much time to get to learn what are the emotions that we are practically facing right now. And we need to accept and acknowledge that, and then move ahead, probably, which might help us to relieve stress to a certain extent. And moreover, just one thing that I would like to say is nothing is important than your health and well-being. So whatever is the amount of stress that you have, just remember that you have to find out ways to keep yourself sane, to keep yourself pacified, at least 15 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day. Spend time with yourself, do things which are away from all the digital networks that you are connected to. And probably that might help you keep grounded and feel that sanity within you, is what I feel.
Yeah, I think everyone needs a little bit of digital detox
Right.
every now
That's
and
the word. That's the word,
yeah.
right?
So we have one more question, ma'am. What are the computer languages that one should learn in the course of 4 years of engineering? It's asked by Ratul Modak.
Okay. So, Ratul, I probably might not be the right person to answer that because I'm working in a core background. But from my experiences right now, I realize that, the languages, like I also spoke in my PPD, the languages that are, being looked out for, like I guess Java, Python. People are also wanting, people having expertise in a database management tools, and there are many out there like Tableau being one of them. So if at all you do have some time, in your hand, and if at all you do wish to learn languages, if those are not a part of your academics, try, going a bit into these things and learning what scope do they have. And moreover, I would also stress the fact that apart from just learning the languages for the sake of learning it, I would recommend you find your own area of interest. Where exactly would you like to be, in terms of your profession? If it's a sale, I mean, if it's a sales perspective, it's a sales background, if it's a marketing background, or if it's a developer background, if it's a coder background, what are the tools or languages that are needed in that area? Analysis, if it's an analysis background, analytical skills. So what are the, softwares that might help you put up, or up your skills in those areas, is something that you need to research and invest your time accordingly, because there are many things, that you can get listed on internet. You can just go there and type top 10 languages to learn, and you'll have a great list from different websites. But what interests you is more important than, what they have to say, is what I would like to tell.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for that lovely answers. I think that's all we have. We have we have come to the end, and those were the questions that we have had. So for the participants, we'll be sharing the feedback form in the chat box. The attendees are requested to fill the feedback form that will be shared in the YouTube live chat to receive their participation certificates. So with this, I would like to extend our utmost gratitude to Ms. Mrugakshi Bole for taking her time out and to guide the students of VESIT. And thank you so much, ma'am, for making us acquainted with the importance of technical and soft skills and how they are going to help us in the future career. I would also like to thank our patrons, Shri B.L. Bulani sir, Principal ma'am, Dr. Mrs. J.M. Nair, Vice Principal ma'am, Dr. Mrs. M. Vijayalakshmi, VREACH convener, Dr. Nupur Giri, and the entire team of VREACH. I would also like to thank the H&A's department team, HOD Mr. Vivek Umrikar, Deputy HOD Mr. Subhash Singh, Faculty Coordinator Mr. Vijay Shezwakar, Student coordinators Omkar Hirugade, Rakshit Deshmukh, Tejas Mahachan, and Rahul Patil. And of course, the participants for making this session a great success. Thank you so much, ma'am, again. And once again, a gentle reminder for all of you to fill the feedback forms that are shared in the YouTube live chat. You'll receive your participation certificates on your mails. Tune in for the further VREACH sessions on VESIT's YouTube channel. And to know more, visit our website. With that, I take your leave. Thank you so much for joining and have a great day. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, ma'am.